But the same with that, you're glowing.
Not true.
Fantastic. Everyone's talking about what are they interested in, and we call this our trending segment right here on The Breakfast. Let's start with the House of Representatives passing or going through the second reading of a bill to raise the academic qualification of political aspirants. And it's been a very, very touchy subject, especially with the presidency going back to the 2015 elections. Is Representative Adewumi Onanuga of the All Progressives Congress in Ogun State. Now, this is a bill seeking the upward review of the required education qualifications for elective offices in Nigeria. And of course, passing second reading of the House of Representatives basically means that it's almost a done deal. She made a statement which was put out on Twitter yesterday, and some persons were responding to this. She's to get jobs, yeah?
State is not a joke. As much as a lot of persons have argued that having a qualification, I mean, having a PhD, a BSc, and all of that does not necessarily translate to becoming a good president, of having good policies and what have you. But I think that argument, I don't want to stay with that. Yes, it might, it is, but it also, let's look at it. Because at the end of the day, you come from the standpoint of having to get a job.
School set.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, the school set. But we you know, looking at the comparison that was actually put out, it is totally unfair.
The comparison is unfair.
Yeah, I'm saying that the comparison, when I say unfair, I mean that...
No, by the honorable member of the House of Representatives, what we're talking about.
When I say unfair, if you look at the reality, the fact that those who are actually seeking for a job, I mean, if you need a job, you have to, get that qualification put out the NYC. No, what I'm saying is this: if you look at it,
I want to be sure on behalf of Nigerians to be sure what you're saying.
No, so you wait for me to just get to the point. Wait. Now, my point is this: it is it's a valid point that has been raised. Okay, that's number one.
Okay.
And then if you look at the disparity in the comparison, because the comparison allows you to see, the loopholes, it's totally unfair. That's what I mean.
The comparison unfair in the sense is unfair. In the sense that, yes.
I'm not saying that the comparison is unfair. I am saying that when you look at the disparity.
The disparity in the comparison.
Which the comparison has, brought to our it just shows you that it's totally unfair that. That's what I mean.
Now. I get you
So
now.
I mean that.
Sorry, Mercy, you always attacking me. So
I'm not,
I will naturally. So you are saying that it's unfair, the situation.
Yes, if you look at the reality, it's unfair that you have, so you want to become a president and all you need is a school set, and then you're looking for a job. You need to have you need to have 30 years experience in the job. You need to have 25. When did you graduate out of school? A president, I mean a good president, or policies that would be chunked out would actually benefit Nigerians. But I think that should not, yes, I understand that it might not just be a requirement for you. It doesn't necessarily translate into you becoming a fantastic governor. We have seen several professors who we don't understand what they are professing, professors of education. So you have a governor who is a professor, you have a deputy governor who is a professor, and then you look at the state that they're governing, there's nothing to profess about. So you ask yourself, what exactly are you...
Representative, saying if graduates or young Nigerians have to have the NYC certificate as a requirement, prerequisite to being employed in the country, why should the highest office in land just require a school certificate?
Don't you think so?
But the thing about it is that yes, indeed, you've made a fantastic point that you have in some situations people who are so-called technocrats who are elected into positions in the country, these political positions, and they do not deliver. We have people who've gone to school, who've read law, who've gone to law school, who've graduated from law school, are lawyers. Some are SANs, maybe become governors, and you don't see anything spectacular about it. You have people who are said to be professors, and they are becoming the worst governors in their state's history. Professor for what? Call it prof. What are you? The one that came was not called prof. Did more than you. Yours is going down. I'm not attacking anyone in particular, Mercy. Don't look at me like that. But what I'm talking about. It's not given that if you have a doctorate, but I think that the thing is that there should be a level playing ground for, I mean, the opportunities that and the demands that are being made by the job market on Nigerian youth, you know, is not the same thing. But this is what I'd like to say. That comparison is an emotional comparison, you know, and when you bring emotions into arguments, sometimes logic flies out the window, you know. So it's saying that Nigerians, you know, graduates are being, or young Nigerians, job seekers are being asked to complete the NYC before they can be given jobs. Why would the highest office in the land? It's an emotional statement that can evoke the passion and reaction of Nigerians like we're seeing online. But we need to realize that performing a job, all right, and applying for a job is different from running for office. You know, those are two different things. And it's also important to make sure that everyone has a fair shot at occupying politics behind. You understand? And of course, if you are there as a school set holder, who says you can't have advisors with PhDs and those professorships and all that? You know, so this is an emotional argument that may threaten to throw logic out the window. Let's move on. We have more trends, you know. So this is, but okay. I think we need to make it clear. It's not actually. He's a priest in charge of the Holy Trinity Catholic Church, somewhere in Ikorodu, Lagos. So the Catholic Archbishop was the one who suspended him. So he's not a Catholic Archbishop, but the Catholic Archbishop dominates the Southeast, and most of the priests come from there naturally, you know. So it was interesting for me when I saw that story, and a lot of people also reacted to it. You know, asking why. Reverend Father James Anelu, he has been said to be known to chastise choristers who sing Igbo songs when he's officiating Mass. As you can hear from the name, he probably comes from that part of the country, you know. So whenever he's officiating Mass, you know, in any part of the South or Southwest, he doesn't want to hear Igbo songs. The reason he gives, this is very important, because before you throw anything at this man, you have to understand where it's coming from. The reason he gives at this masses, according to the reports, is that Igbos are not the only one who attend Catholic churches. You understand? And the excesses of Igbos must be contained. You know, so the predomination or the domination of the Catholic faith in Nigeria by those from southeastern states, okay, means that if you go to other Catholic churches around the country, you most likely will see them there. So his thought is that we need to be careful, because despite the fact that you are in the majority, we have people who are in this church, in Yoruba land, in the Niger Delta, for instance, who are not Igbos. So sing songs that they can understand. That's what we're saying. So
usually when this actually happens, it's possible that his intentions were not, probably he had good intentions, or he had a message to actually communicate, but quite very strange for a lot of people, and at this time. And that's why we constantly say, you hear the call that we are being governed in different, you know, in segments. The country as Nigeria, so you have different segments. And, you know, religion is big on us. Religion is very big on us. A lot of people have actually say, yes, you've been in church since for a while. So you're in church, you could be in the church. I mean, I go to church and then people are singing all sort of songs from different tribes. And no one has actually banned that. Usually because with technology, so people can actually be carried along, what you have is that you have people projecting the songs on the screen. And prior to this time, if you have the choir or the chorister or the lead singer, they come out to begin to teach the song. I mean, just before they get into the performance of the song in full. So they just have you, they take you through interpretation of the song, understanding that you have different persons from different tribes. So we would also expect that, because you cannot take out the fact that you have religious organization, be it, you know, the Muslim community, where I have the church, Christian, and what have you, the Buddhists and the Judaist, the traditionalists. All of these persons are very vital in, you know, the development, nation building. And we need to be very sensitive. It's a sensitive time, a time where you have some quarters agitating and asking that we want to go away. And what's the essence of wanting to go their way? So you want to expect that every religious leader, every traditional traditionalists, including the native doctors, should be very, very informed and aware of what the things that are going on, because people are saying we're not carried out. No, I'm sorry.
We have shown on the screen the statement put out by the Catholic Archdiocese of Lagos. It says, disclaimer, this is dated 7th February, by the way. It has been brought to our notice that Reverend Father James Danilo, the priest in charge of Holy Trinity Catholic Church, Ikorodu, made some completely unacceptable comments about Igbo songs being sung in the church and unsavory remarks that do not represent the Catholic Church's patriotism on common brotherhood of peoples of all tribes and religions. For this reason, he has been asked to proceed on indefinite leave of absence to give an opportunity for a thorough investigation of all matters relating to his ministry in the parish. The leave of absence takes effect from Tuesday, 8th February 2022 to further notice. We therefore urge all Catholic faithful to hold on to the faith and continue our worship of God as one big family, united in love and not separated by language, culture, or race. So I just had to read that so people understand, and sorry I interrupted you, Mercy. But I have a question for you, yeah? Do you think that this priest meant to separate people by language, culture, or race?
So,
or he meant to make it more inclusive?
So the thought I had was that it is... his intentions probably might be very right, but we're saying that everybody needs to understand that we're in a very, very sensitive part, we're in a very sensitive time in the country. And so be it a religious leader, you need to also understand right at this point in time where you have some persons feeling left out. Let's be very realistic. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have at this point in time where you have some persons who feel that they have been marginalized over time. And if you look at it, so it would just be,
Is this okay, so this is it here. Sorry to interrupt you, Mercy. You're saying some people are marginalized over time, right? Is this a situation of people being marginalized? Okay.
No, and you also have the fact that the chorister could actually
in that church.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is we need to find a way to understand it is a sensitive time, and for you as a priest to come out to say, for whatever reason, the intentions might be right, but the time you need to understand, you also need to find a way to communicate. So we do not get to a point where we actually get the country, distorted, and constantly put all of that confusion in.
You said it's a sensitive time. I do not know if that sensitivity comes into play in the church.
It does, because like I mentioned, the sensitivity actually comes in, in play in church, because you cannot take out, we're big on religion, and you can't take that out from us. And we're saying that in developing the nation, religion has a place. So you have different religion. You also have the traditionalists. They cannot be left out. They have a lot of followings. And so we need to be the Igbos cannot constantly have a song because you have all the tribes. Why don't you have a situation where, because I've been to churches where they sing different songs from Delta, from Akwa Ibom, from different parts, minority, majority, and all of that. So you have all of that. So why don't you find a way where people can actually have a balance? And like I say, it happens in different churches that I have seen, which has not become a problem. So you have the songs being projected on the screen, and then you have the choir, whatever, take them through some kind of schooling, and then they understand before it's been done. So they sing all kind of songs. So for me, his intentions might just be right. He doesn't mean any harm. But because we're in a very sensitive time where some people, especially the Igbos, the southeastern part of the country, feels marginalized. They haven't been taken along in they feel like, we have been left out. We haven't been given. We don't feel belong. They feel, and then, you put out that statement. It will be taken out of context. And that's why it's important that everybody understands that we have a role to play in nation building.
Fantastic. Yesterday we had a guest on the program, and she, Christine Umoekereka, who said that she tried to get her books to find out why the phones were confiscated, and the claim was that they were trying to use that to get money from her. And of course, as a responsible and progressive, proactive media organization, PlusTvAfrica went to the NDA.
Consignment is, and unfortunately what she was saying on here, which is also very ridiculous and unfortunate, she was making an allegation that she herself has not been able to establish. She was saying that they said that even in your broadcast, you also said that NDLE planted drugs in her business. That did not come up. That is never part of the entire transaction. were just having the first contact with that particular consignment today. And that has been processed and released since, because I know the process. A lot, quite as I spoke, as I told, like I told one of, your producer before, quite a number of people, when they don't get their consignments released within 28 hours, within 24 hours or 48 hours, they start putting pressure on NDLE, not even knowing that the agency is yet to see the particular consignment. I have treated a number of cases like this. So people should learn to actually find out information, cross-check before they come on here to make spurious allegations.
Okay, sir.
In this particular case, there is no truth in it at all. The process is this. This thing came through a courier service. The courier service works with courier service for delivery to the owners. So, like I said, that particular consignment has the first contact with NDLA today. So whoever she had spoken with in DHL has nothing to do with the NDLA. So she couldn't have been making allegations based on her conversation with anybody in DHL. And like I said, in this age and time, she has a responsibility to check through the tracking number, where the tracking number will show where her consignment is at any particular point in time.
Quite interesting. Of course, we listened to the reaction of the spokesman for the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Mr. Femi Babafemi. He earlier spoke to Plus TV News. And Mercy, this is quite interesting. Both of us were here yesterday and listened to the lady who expressed some concern about her items. And if it's a situation that, or it is a situation that she did not, the items were not with the NDLEA, how did she know it was with the NDLEA? You know, if at the time she was talking, the items were not with the NDLEA, then how did she know it was with the NDLEA?
You know, usually it's a case of having, you know, a public image, public relations. I mean, that's what you're talking about. So you have to put a good image. I'm not saying that that's the case, but there's a possibility. I mean, so we're looking at the fact that, yes, an accusation was made. Should there be a response? Yes, there should be a response. What should be it? So anything can actually happen, especially when you're not there to, you know, verify all of the issues that were raised from both parties. So yes, it's a good thing that the NDLEA has actually responded, and we know what it says. One of the things that was mentioned is the fact that there are processes. Now, don't forget the time that was also mentioned in the course of all of this. She mentioned, you know, a time saying, yes, I sent this out at a particular time, and I've been told that it's in the custody of the NDLEA. That's because I've been also told that
He's simply doing his job. You know, if it's a case of the phones or the items, the consignment gone into Nigeria, and they've been here for maybe 48 hours, you know, if there's nothing to be concerned about, or there's nothing incriminating in them, and I think Mrs. Umar Kereka doesn't have anything to fear. The agencies of government must be allowed to do their job. We know that people import, you know, vehicles into this country. We've had reports, you know, it's on record. People import vehicles into this country, and in those vehicles are concealed drugs, hard drugs, cocaine and stuff. People import vehicles into this country, and in those vehicles, we're doing our job. We're going to release a thing to the woman, and then I think that's it. That's it, basically.
Well, that's it on top.